Hello and welcome to Quite Simply, the YouTube channel where I quite simply talk about what I quite simply feel like talking about on any given day, all while doing my LED masking. There's no fancy microphones, no fancy lighting, no fancy cameras. It's just you and me and my laptop, and today a big stack of books. Because today I feel like chatting about my favourite books or my favourite authors. I'm not going to be promising anything in deep or book talk worthy or whatever it's called or booktube worthy. I'm not that person. I have the worst memory. I just always have like a good feeling about things. I go, oh yeah, I like that. And therefore I'll recommend it because it just has some lovely niceness in my body, which tells me it's worthwhile. I know it's really unhelpful, but it is what it is. Let's go with it. So, shall we start? First book off the top, Stephen King, short stories. This is Skeleton Crew, but all of his short story books, as far as I'm concerned, are amazing. I read them, I reread them, I go back to them time and time again. The man is the master of the short story. Full stop. No correspondence will be entered into. It is exactly what it is. I don't care how literary other people are. His are the best. Adore. 100%. His latest one, oh my gosh, can't remember its name. I've got my phone here because I do have my Kindle on the phone. Because my Kindle is being all dodgy, and so I just read on my phone now when I'm not reading a real book. Who am I? All books are real books. Doesn't matter how you read them. They're real. They were written, but like I mean a physical copy. Can I find it? I have to scroll back. It's been a while. All the way back, all the way back, all the way back. Oh my gosh, how far back do I have to go? How many books have I read? I must have read a lot. I really didn't care for that one. But that's okay. We don't want to be that person who says things that are negative. Okay, look, I'm going to give up because I could be here all day because apparently I read way more books than I realised. That will explain why my poor little credit card always goes because I'm always going, oh yeah, buy. So easy when you're reading digitally. Oh, excuse me, I did some like manual labour outside and now I've got itchy bites everywhere. Second book. This one though is actually a favourite by Stephen King. 100% out of all his books, I've read this the most. Needful Things, absolutely adore it. Love the idea of temptation and what you do for temptation and what you do if you think it's the right thing to do when it's the wrong thing to do. It's just such a great book. It's a hefty little tome, but so fabulous. Honestly, the man is a gem, a treasure. Love Stephen King. Won't hear a bad word said about him. Next is a book that I was forced to read in high school, but I came to love it dearly, and that is Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. The man's a romance writer. I mean, I know he writes other stuff, but by George, he could spin a wee tale about star-crossed lovers and that whole enemies to lovers, trope. I mean, just brilliant. And Benedict and Beatrice are my favourite, like little wee sparry couple of all time. I just think they are the best, and I love that. Also love this lady here, Amy Sedaris. I Like You Under the Hospitality Influence. It's just a fun read. She is so great. I adore her. I adore her brother David. If I could have them at a dinner table for a meal, I 100% would. And I think that, she's an absolute talent, an absolute treasure. This is just a really good fun book to read. It's got some very wild ideas, which one loves, even though one won't ever do them. Next up, good old Marian Keyes. Now, it's getting on. I'm tired. I'm actually getting a headache. I probably need to hydrate. But sorry, whenever people go hydrate, I can't. Like, just have some water. But yeah, Marian Keyes, I recently read her latest one. Again, Rachel, I love all that series about those girls. They're so great. And everything she writes is great. She is funny, hilarious. Her characters are beautifully written, so well drawn. And I think there's only ever one book that I did not care for, and that's okay. Can't win them all. But yeah, anything by Marian Keyes, if you're just wanting a great read that draws you in and makes you feel big feelings and really like empathize with people, sometimes want to slap them up the back of the head, she does it. This one, I might have to get my torch out. Going old school. Oh, what did I say? No fancy lines. I'm about to pull out the old iPhone torch. Is it on? Did I even turn it on? Oh, there it goes. Sorry. Anyway, this is called Paul Gallico, Love of Seven Dolls. I was at a sale of a library that was getting rid of books, and I just liked the cover. I was like, oh, that's really cute. I thought, oh, it might be good for my daughter. Then I read the first paragraph, or two paragraphs technically, first line, then the next paragraph, and it had me hook, line, and sinker. I'm going to read it for you. In Paris, in the spring of our times, a young girl was about to throw herself into the Seine. She was a thin, awkward creature with a wide mouth and short black hair. Her body was all bones and hollows where there should have been curves and flesh. Her face, oh no, my whole... Her face was appealing, but it was now gaunt with hunger and the misery of failure. Speaking of failure... Her eyes were haunting, large, liquid, dark, and filled with despair. And it had me. I was like, I am here for anything that is that. Let's just, maybe if I flip that way. Look, there we go. Fancy lights on Quite Simply. It was such a great book. It had terminologies that we would not use in this day and age. Well, I would not use. Some people might, but they would not be my people. And I'm not going to repeat them because I don't feel comfortable. But it was a different time, and I think actually behind it, it still had it had some really interesting themes, and there were some very dark themes. Like, I'm still not 100% about it. But you know when you read a book and you go, that's still a really good book. Oh, this book, I will be reading that many times over. I do believe I've definitely recommended it to a lot of people. Another book I've recommended to a lot of people, and I still find it hard to say it's my favourite book, is... Oh no, it's going to go now. Something of Flair. No, can't remember. Doesn't matter. Oh, look at this. What if we do this? If I go here, better. This book, The Author's Cut, short stories by Owen Marshall. He's a Kiwi. Very beautifully written short stories. Also very Stephen King-esque in that these are more like real. They're not like spooky or anything, but they make you feel very uncomfortable and very nervous and just this a bit grim and make your tummy go all I will be reading this a lot. It's so good, so good. And then last but not least, 100% like Stephen King favorite fiction writer, but this is my favorite writer other than fiction, writes satire, David Sedaris, and this is my favourite David Sedaris book, Me Talk Pretty One Day. I love all his books. I have all his books. As soon as his books comes out, I can't speak. It's past my bedtime. But as soon as his books come out, or his book comes out, Quite Simply can't talk. I race to the bookstore and I buy them, and I just love them, and they are so great. This one, though, is my favourite. This one I read on a beach. When I was at the beach with my friend, and I just started cackling, and she made the point that had I been lying by myself, I would have looked like an insane person at the state of my cackling. But it's so funny. It really does crack me up, and it's also very relatable, especially when he talks about trying to learn French and always asking for multiples because it's really hard to remember masculine and feminine, which, that is something that I love learning French, but I also struggle, and it makes it hard. And I'm probably going to go to France in a couple of years. It's on the cards, and oh my gosh, it's so dark now. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so I should go because this is dark. Oh, hold on. Let's see if we can make this work again, because I did have one more book that I wanted to talk about. Oh, I'm such an amateur. Oh yeah, so it's this book that I'm reading at the moment, and it's called, Boys in the Valley by Philip, is it Frick on the Tick? Fracassi. Anyway, it's about demonic possession. Let's do this. It's about demonic possession, and it's set around the turn of last century at a little like a boys' orphanage with priests, and it's so scary. And I woke up at 2:30 last night, which is probably also why I can't 2:30 yesterday morning, and I was like, I need to sleep, so I'll read. And so I started reading that, and it was so scary, and I just had to put it down and try and go back to sleep under the covers. I love a book like that. I think that'll be a book that I definitely recommend to all my horror lovers. Yeah, so I'm gonna go because, like I said, can't talk, getting a headache. It's the end of the day. My mask stopped working. I'm going. You have a good one. I'll see you when I next see you in my next video. Maybe that'll be the one where I break down. That could also be a double thing. When I break down what my videos are doing and maybe have a breakdown. Okay, cool. Thanks. Bye.